All right, so in today's video, I'm gonna answer a long overdue question that I've been meaning to answer for a few weeks now. I've just been super busy. I've been scaling the drop shipping, obviously, and kind of trying to test out this different systems so that I can hire people to do specific jobs and I can kind of, be more hands-off with it, okay? So I'm gonna answer this question. It's a lot to unpack here, but I think basically answering this question will help you guys, more specifically like beginners and intermediate Facebook Marketplace drop shippers, to scale your business or double it, obviously, as the title says, okay? Now, if you're already like intermediate or advanced, meaning like you're already making like $5,000 to like $10,000 a month doing Facebook Marketplace drop shipping, then this video might not be for you, obviously, but you can still maybe get some nuggets of wisdom out of it. This is more towards like beginners that are just starting or intermediate people that are doing like $1,000 to like $5,000 a month. If you follow these tips, because I'm seeing that, how I'm approaching this is, literally doubling my sales this month. I think I'm already almost at $4,000 and it's the 12th of the month as I'm recording this right now. So I'm gonna hit that $10,000 profit per month goal that I set in the beginning of June. A lot to unpack here, but I'm just gonna answer this question. It's a long one, and hopefully the insights from it will help you guys scale your business as well, okay? So Scott says, killer video, sir. Congratulations on your Facebook Marketplace success. Going back a few weeks when you were discussing managing expectations, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing what your personal benchmarks for sales are and how often you change up what you're selling or your niche, okay? So my personal benchmarks for sales right now, I don't really have a personal benchmark for sales. I have a personal benchmark for profit. Last month I set the goal for $6,000, didn't hit it, but I was pretty close. This month I set the goal for $10,000 profit, and I would assume that unless things start tanking, I will hit that. I'm already at $4,000 and it's only the 12th of the month, okay? Now, sales is really gonna depend on a lot of different things. It's gonna depend on your margins. I think last month I forget what it was. It was probably a little over $20,000 in sales, I wanna say. And I think this month, I'd have to look at my spreadsheet. I might already be up to like $14,000 in sales. I'm not really sure. So I don't really set a personal sales benchmark because I'm more concerned with the take-home profit that I actually make, right? You could be listing like for example, you could be listing like things that cost like $15 with a margin of $5, or you could be listing things, that are like $50 or $100 with a margin of like 10 or $15 or $20, right? And so your sales could be very different depending on the prices of the products that you're selling, okay? So my goal is basically just $10,000 profit for the month. Next part of your question is, how often do I change up what I'm selling or my niche? So realistically, I have many different approaches with this, and I'll try to link a video that I've done realistically, like I said realistically like 3 times there, about a month or 2 ago, and it really is the same approach. So I'll try to link that video down there. I think it was like 5 different ways that I kind of find hot selling products. So basically what I do is I'll use things like Zeek Analytics to do product research of competitors. So that's one way that I do it. And then I'll pull the competitor into Zeek Analytics. I will actually go out there and source their top products, or not source their top products, list their top products, and then move on to the next competitor, right? Or I'll also use, number 2 is I'll use Zeek Analytics and their top 500, and I'll just list products off the top 500 like that. Another way that I do it is I'll list like best sellers from Amazon or from Walmart, or I'll list movers and shakers from Amazon or from Walmart, or I'll list hot new releases from Amazon or Walmart or retailers like that, or Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever. And the reason that I'm doing that is just because they're giving you all the data, and I like to test that out. I've heard conflicting views on that. So like some people say like it works really, really well for them, and other people are like it doesn't work for them at all. They never see sales because those products are so saturated because everybody hops on those lists and lists from them, right? I've seen mixed results with those. I try to stay away from the main retailers. I do list from Amazon, don't get me wrong. I do list from Walmart. I do list from eBay. I do list from all the top retailers, and I have products from all of them. But I'm moving away from that, and my main goal is not that, because I think that those, while it's a great way to get into it, right? Like if you're brand new, it's a great way to get into it because they're reputable, they have great products, their shipping times are very, very quick, and they have so many different products to choose from as well. But if you plan to scale this and you want it to be a long-term business, you should probably avoid common products and common retailers and find a really obscure niche and a retailer that nobody's using, or even move into wholesale, okay? So that's three, right? So like bestsellers from those top categories, or things that they're even showing you on the homepage, because things that they're showing you on the homepage are clearly what's selling well for them as well. The next way that I do it, and these are just like spitballing off the top of my head, I'm sure I'm missing things here. The next way that I'll do it is I'll actually go into Facebook Marketplace myself, browse around and see what they suggest to me, because if they're suggesting it to me, obviously they're gonna suggest me different things than they're gonna suggest you. But if you also go into Marketplace on the app, they'll show you like different things and listing recommendations of hot selling things and hot selling categories that are selling well right now, right? So that'll give you ideas to kind of, list products like that. So that's number 4. Number 5 is I'll just have my VA. I'll just say like, pick some things you think are cool, because if they think things are cool, it's going to be different from what I think things are cool. And I also kind of play it like the scientific approach, where it's like, I'm just going to list a bunch of different random things and see if kind of throwing like stuff at the wall metaphorically and seeing if it sticks. And often that's where I find the best products, believe it or not, where it's like, I'm not doing any product research. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just listing random things and seeing if they work, and very rarely do they work, right? So like if you list like 100 different things, like maybe 80 of them never really get any views, maybe like 10 of those 100 do get views, but they never sell, and maybe 10 of those sell, but only like 1 or 2 of those really sell consistently. But those are usually the ones that sell very, very well for me, because nobody else is really listing those. I don't have a lot of competition. The margins are usually good, et cetera, right? So that's 5, I think. The 6th is I'll just list random things that I think are cool, or I'll write down things like if I'm driving one day, or like I'm in the shower and I have shower thoughts, and I think like, hey, like I wonder if this will sell. I'll write it down on a little sheet, and then I'll put a couple up there for my VA to list next time they go to list, and that's the way that I'll kind of approach it. So literally things that I think are cool, or I'll just write down good ideas that I have, and every once in a while they'll hit. Every once in a while they won't, right? It's really kind of the way that I approach it is like, yeah, you want to do product research, that's smart, it's a no-brainer, but also it's more of a volume approach for me. Like if I'm listing like 50 to like 150 listings a day, depending on how much my VA is actually doing that day, at that point, you really have the ability, because I'm hiring them relatively cheap, I have the ability to test so many different products. So rather than guessing, I'm just looking at the data, right? What's getting the most listings, or what's getting the most views, not listings. What's getting the most views, what's obviously selling, rinse and repeat, obviously, with what works, right? So I'm looking at the data, I'm looking at the numbers, I'm looking at the real-time feedback on Facebook Marketplace, and then I'm listing more products and more variations like that, right? And I'm sure there's other ones that I'm missing there. I'll try to link that video down in the description, but you can also just search it and find it on this channel as well. Those are the same ways that I basically approached it like a month or 2 ago, is the same exact way that I'm doing it right now. The only difference is I'm not personally doing it. I've outsourced that to a virtual assistant who does it for me. So obviously it buys back some of my time so I can focus on scaling other parts of my business. Namely, right now, it's the Amazon drop shipping, and obviously like the other sides of my business, like wholesale, books, and stuff like that. Although those have kind of been on the back burner a little bit, like shipping those into FBA is kind of on the back burner. I haven't done that a lot recently, right? So I'm kind of getting off tangent, but hope that answers your question. The next part of your question is, do I get annoyed or consider making immediate proactive tweaks to my business if I encounter a day where I've had less than 10 marketplace sales total, or maybe 15 sales total? If I encounter a day, let's say a couple of those days in a row, would I then consider dumping whatever products I'm doing and trying to sell that's not working? If I've encountered those products, do I take them off, or have they never died, right? So that's a lot of different places. I read that a little bit weird, but basically you're asking if I have a couple of consistent days where it seems like my sales are down, do I just kind of think like, oh my God, something's wrong, and make, sudden tweaks? I'm always tweaking, just like anything. Like as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you always want to be making like slight tweaks here and there. You're almost like a scientist running experiments. And so I'm always looking at the real-time feedback, what's working, what's not. But to answer your question specifically, I'm always making tweaks. But to answer your question specifically, I've had a day or two where my sales go to practically none. Like I'll have like a couple of consistent days at like 20 sales a day and like $300 profit a day or something like that, right? And then it'll drop to like 4 or 5 sales for like a day or two. And I have mixed reactions. Like I'm a human being, I have emotions too. So like quite often my emotions are like, shit, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I listing bad products? I got to go back to the drawing board. I got to turn the listings up and list 150 or 100 listings that day to make sure that I'm staying back on track. But often, like, while yes, I do think those things here and there, I've seen that it is an ebb and flow. It is kind of like a, you know, an up and down type of thing. I have not, like, I've seen other people talk about like, oh, they were killing it and then all of a sudden their sales dropped off and they stopped, you know, getting sales or views. That's never happened to me. I kind of see like an ebb and flow where like I get a lot of views or I get a, you know, whatever it is, and then like I'll have sales go up one day or a couple days and they'll come back down to earth, but it's always an average, and that average usually stays pretty steady for like the week. I have noticed some days I tend to sell more, so like weekends, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I don't know if it's just my product specifically, I sell a lot more than I do on like a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday or something like that. So that's a trend that I've seen personally in my own business. But I would say you should always be looking to tweak. You should always be looking at the real-time feedback of what your business is doing, the sales and the listings and everything. Always be tweaking your listings too. So if like you have past listings that have sold a lot but haven't sold in like a couple weeks or a month, go back and tweak those. Change the picture, change part of the description, add a tag, change the price, increase the shipping, whatever it is, right? Change something. And what I've seen to kind of, I've noticed is like that almost acts as like a renew that listing in a weird way, where it brings it back to the top of marketplace. So constantly be changing your listings if they're not working and if they're not selling. If they are selling, I would say just keep them, don't do anything to them. So that's my general approach there. I don't really kind of, you know, throw out like the baby with the bathwater or anything and then move on to a completely different approach. For me, it's consistency, it's volume, it's sourcing the same exact ways that I just said in the past question that I answered for you. And then just, you know, turning it up and understanding that there's going to be an ebb and flow there. But obviously if, you know, you're going like a week or two without, you know, sales or views, or, you know, it's really hit the floor, then it's probably the listings that you're listing, either list more or list better, or a combination of both. It's your prices, or, you know, it could be also somebody's following you and sniping all your best listings. I've noticed that there's been people following me and I didn't even know that that was a thing. So I started to kind of block all those people. There's like a thing on Marketplace where you can turn off followers, but for whatever reason, it doesn't work when I click it. So there have been people that have been following me for a while, so they very well could have been sniping some of my listings on my personal profile for me, right? I do have another profile that I list from, and obviously I'm not going to tell anybody whose name that is. It is somebody that I know. I use their profile to list from. Eventually, hopefully, it will move into like where you can do it from like a business page. I know some people have that, and I currently do not. But currently, right now, I have my main profile, and then obviously I have somebody else's profile, and I do about half and half of my sales on both of those, okay? So, hope that answers that part of your question, Scott. Good question. He also said he had a successful April on Facebook Marketplace as well, in no small part to comprehending my videos. With the products I was selling, but ever since the ban, part of his sales and views have gone way down. I will post products on Facebook Marketplace with quick succession and sometimes get little to no views. I have not seen a listing with 0 views yet make a sale. But if you were in my shoes, what would you do? Would you put more effort into trying to resurrect that product's level of business to its former glory, or just count my profits, be happy it all happened, and move on to a completely different product? Both. I think you should do both, right? So just like I said before, if you have past listings that were selling very, very well, and I'm not talking like a week ago, I'm talking like a couple weeks to a month ago, renew those listings or relist them all entirely, right? Because that's a proven winning product. Or simply go back to the listing and change something on the listing. That kind of acts like a renew as well, right? It could be the listing picture. It could be just improving the listings, description, or tags. It could be that there's competitors out there that are, you know, undercutting you, and now your listing is no longer viable. So do a little product research. If, for example, you have a listing that was selling really, really well, and all of a sudden now it's like, you know, non-existent, right? Or it could just be as simple as renewing the listing. Every once in a while, you know, I'll go through every single day and renew every single listing that I possibly can. And sometimes that takes me like a half hour to finish all of them, but it's worth it, right? So that's what I would say for that. Do both, right? You want to focus on improving your old sales that, you know, stop kind of selling, but also relisting new products, because you're going to find trending products that sell well. You're also going to have products that, you know, do sell well over a long lifespan. And you're also going to have products that really only sell well for like a month or so. And then the trend dies out. If like you're buying patio furniture, or you're selling patio furniture, for example, because this is an example that I see everybody recommending. Well, in that case, like, there's only so many people out there that are buying patio furniture for the summer, and then once they buy their patio furniture, the listing pool or the pool of people, a pool of buyers that are all looking for patio furniture shrinks significantly, right? And so it's still gonna be a hot item, but like it was a lot hotter, you know, spring into the beginning of summer, and it's not necessarily going to be that hot, in my opinion, in summer, because all the people that have bought new patio furniture are no longer in the market for new patio furniture, right? So like, that's not really the best example, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of like, it could just be that your listing had a short shelf life, and that could be it, right? So my best, you know, advice is do both for that specific question, but my best advice for anybody is list better products and list more, right? It's not rocket science. There's no secrets here. It's literally just listing a bunch of products every single day and finding what works for you. And obviously, I've already given you like 5 or 6 different ways that I go about finding good products, but I'll try to drop that video, like I said, about how I approach it. It might be 1 or 2 videos actually, because I think I've done 2 of them with like 2 different strategies. So I'll drop those videos down at the bottom of the description if you want to check out, you know, how to actually go about finding hot selling products. And then it's just a volume game. Just list more of those products, okay? So I know that was long overdue. Thanks for the question, Scott. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you appreciate the value in it, and I'll see you in the next one.